Hello and welcome to the Department of Family and Community Medicine's 2023 Award and Celebration event. I'm going to give people a moment or two to filter in. In the meantime, please feel free to introduce yourself in the chat and where you're from. Wonderful, great. Just give it another minute. That's wonderful. Welcome, everyone. Lovely. Thank you, everyone, for adding your name and where you're from. Keep it coming. Excellent. Okay. Hello again, and I am so delighted to welcome you to the DFCM's 2023 Award and Celebration event. My name is Thea Weisdorf, and I use the pronouns she and her. I am a family physician practicing comprehensive care with a focus on primary care for transgender and gender diverse people and their families. I practice at St. Michael's Hospital Academic Family Health Team, part of Unity Health Toronto. This is my second year in the role of the Awards, Grants, and Funds lead for the DFCM, which is what brings me here this evening. And I'm also the DFCM faculty lead for St. Michael's Hospital. And I have been part of the DFCM since residency, so I genuinely can call it home and family. I would really like to thank everyone for making the time to join us this evening to celebrate the achievements of DFCM faculty, staff, and learners. These events are always a special opportunity to recognize people from across the DFCM. And from the chat, I see we have people from everywhere, from our new sites at Humber River. We have people from Mississauga, we have people from Barrie, we have people from all over the DFCM, and welcome, welcome, welcome. Too often we get caught up in our day-to-day activities, both inside and outside work, particularly during the hustle and bustle of this time of the year, back to school. Therefore, taking a moment to pause and to reflect and celebrate on the incredible work of our peers and colleagues is so invaluable to our sustenance. Now, before we dive into the award recipients, I would like to acknowledge the lands on which we are lucky to live and work. Thank you. So I'm humbled to be standing in front of you in the days following the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. Thank you. There were 140 federally run residential schools in Canada that operated between 1867 and 1996. At least 150,000 First Nations, Inuit, and Métis Nation children were taken from their families and communities to attend government-funded, church-run residential schools in an attempt to assimilate them. An estimate of over 6,000 children died in the residential school system. September 30th honors the Indigenous children who never returned home and the survivors of residential schools, as well as their families and communities. It is our duty and responsibility to be aware of and act wherever possible on the Truth and Reconciliation Committee's 94 calls to action. Public commemoration of the tragic and painful history and ongoing impacts of residential schools is a vital component of the reconciliation process. Please take the time to read books, listen to podcasts, watch videos, and reach out to those who have been and potentially continue to be impacted by the residential school systems in Canada. And I'll come back to the land acknowledgement. If we can just go back to the second slide, please. My reflection on the land acknowledgement relates to this time of the year and the significance of displacement to different peoples. I will explain. Jewish people, of which I am one, are currently in the midst of the holiday called Sukkot. Sukkot is a 7-day holiday that asks us to think about the ideas of home and what it means to have a roof over our heads. One of the Hebrew names for Sukkot is Chag HaAsif, and Chag HaAsif refers to the seasonal significance of Sukkot. It is a festival that celebrates the joys and blessings of a bountiful harvest. Next slide, please. During the 7 days of this holiday, we build something called a sukkah, a temporary structure that must have 2.5 or 3 sides. The material is known as shach. The roof material is known as a shach, which comes from the Hebrew word for covering. Palm or evergreen branches are often used. During the day, the roof must offer more shade than sun, and at nighttime, we should be able to see the stars between the branches of the roof. Meals are to be eaten in the sukkah, and some will even sleep in the sukkah. It also reminds us to slow down and reconnect with the natural world. The second name for Sukkot is Chag HaSukkot. Chag HaSukkot holds a more historical significance. In this context, the sukkah reminds us of the shelter God provided to the Jewish people when he brought them out of Egypt and as they wandered the desert for 40 years. Our willingness to leave the security of our homes and spend 7 days in an outdoor structure is a demonstration of our faith. Next slide, please. The festival of Sukkot is associated with the outdoors and community. Growing up, I didn't celebrate Sukkot having our own sukkah, so it was a special treat to be invited to one. Then when we had children, we began this annual tradition. I loved making bright colored paper chains, probably more than my daughters did, and filling the sukkah with multicolored corn and other seasonal decorations. Eating dinners in the sukkah were a treat, even more so when with friends and family. Even the inevitable rainy interruptions and the crisp autumn temperatures did not dampen the environment. Now I want to return to the concept of displacement and my thoughts on how it relates to Indigenous land in the holiday of Sukkot. Sukkot is a holiday whereby the end result of our displacement is positive. The sukkahs, representing the structures in the wanderings of the Israelites, provided shelter during their journey through the desert to the eventual freedom. The National Day of Truth and Reconciliation marks the displacement of Indigenous children to residential schools and away from their families. Moreover, it reminds us of the history of displacement and injustices that have marked this country since settlers arrived on this land. It is my reflection, and more importantly, the actions I take, not only at this time of the year, but always. And with the duality of these two observances, I'm aware that while I am fortunate to celebrate this holiday that honors the harvest and the land on which I live, I am doing so on Indigenous lands which have been appropriated by settlers like myself. So on this day, we acknowledge this land on which the University of Toronto operates. For thousands of years, it has been the traditional land of the Huron-Wendat, the Seneca, and most recently the Mississaugas of the Credit River. Today, this meeting place is still home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to work on this land. Now I'm delighted to hand over to our event co-hosts for this evening, Drs. Melanie Henry and Abisk Van Rasool. Melanie is the Vice Chair of Community and Partnerships in the Department of Family and Community Medicine. She is a staff physician at Oak Valley Health, Markham Stouffville site, and a family physician at the community-based clinic of Health for All. She also works as a physician at Blue Door Shelter and provides physician support through the Community Paramedic Outreach Response Team, CPORT program. Abbas is a family physician at St. Michael's Hospital, Unity Health. His diverse clinical practice includes the care of patients with mental illness and HIV. He is Program Director for the Academic Fellowship and Graduate Studies program in the Department of Family and Community Medicine, University of Toronto. He teaches at the undergrad, postgrad, and graduate levels. Past leadership roles have included Residency Program Director at the DFCM at St. Michael's Hospital, and co-lead for the Toronto Addis Ababa Academic Collaboration in Family Medicine. Welcome, Abbas and Melanie.
Thank you, Thea, for those kind words and kind introduction. Welcome, everybody, to this wonderful event. Welcome to the DFCM Award Celebration Evening. In preparation for tonight, I was looking back at to see how long I'd been a part of this department, and so it's been 30 years a month ago that I started at U of T as a medical student, and just reflecting on how wonderful it's been to be surrounded by such a wonderful group of learners, teachers, and scholars for that time. And tonight is a special night where we get to acknowledge our colleagues and their accomplishments. Thank you for attending tonight's event, where we get to do this. The agenda for the evening is up, and you can take a look at that. Before we get started, I have a couple of reminders. One of them is to turn off your EMR. Those labs and prescriptions will be there tomorrow when you get to log in again. Grab yourself some snacks and a drink, coffee or tea, your choice, and we'll get started. I'm going to pass things on to my fabulous co-host for the evening, Melanie Henry. Melanie, over to you.
Thanks so much, Abbas. Thanks for joining me as my co-MC today. And thanks to Thea for your absolutely lovely land acknowledgement. I think I'm always so moved by personal reflections when added to land acknowledgements, and I really think that they bring home the importance and the value of them. So today, without further ado, I'm pleased to and delighted to introduce Danielle Martin for her welcome address. So I'll hand it over to you, Danielle.
Thanks so much, Melanie, and thank you, Melanie and Abbas, for hosting us this evening. It's just amazing to see over 150 people joining us from across our great department. And I will say that I do think one of the great innovations of the pandemic and with these virtual meetings is the way in which it allows such a distributed network as ours to come together in this way. We have people from Thailand and Collingwood and many different academic sites from Midland and all over the province and indeed around the world joining us this evening. And I just want to thank everyone for taking the time out to celebrate each other. It's such a critical way that, as Thea said, that we find sustenance in our work. We have so many superstars in this department. It's an extraordinary and humbling thing. I do find it actually a very moving event, this event. My name's Danielle Martin. I'm a family doc, and I have the pleasure of being chair of this wonderful department. And I have been a member of this department in one way or another since I joined as a resident in 2003. And indeed, many of my mentors and teachers are on this screen and being honored in various ways this evening. Some of you helped me learn to deliver a baby. Some of you helped me learn how to provide care in shelters. And so I want to begin just by thanking all of my mentors, not just my clinical mentors, but all those amazing people across this department who have helped me as I have navigated this role, which was a big leadership transition for me and which I have enjoyed so much. And each of us, of course, has stories like that. We all have people to whom we owe so much gratitude. And tonight we'll be honoring and celebrating a few of those incredible stars in our department. But I just want to take a second to say, if there's someone who you owe a thanks to for mentoring you along the way, maybe tonight's wonderful event can be an inspiration, either to just send them a quick note to say they're on your mind and you remember the impact they had on you, which actually, as we all know, is the greatest thanks any of us can ever give, or if you're feeling really ambitious, you should nominate them for an award for next year, because it is incredibly meaningful to be recognized and celebrated by your peers in the way that we're going to be doing tonight. So think about how, maybe we can all think about how we might pay forward the incredible mentorship that we've received from our mentors along the way. Lastly, I just want to put in a plug for our next DFCM Town Hall, which will be taking place on the 20th of October, and we'll put the information in the chat. It's an 8 to 9 a.m. event, and like this one, you can participate in it by Zooming in as you're on your way to the office, or dropping your kids off, or having your morning coffee, or whatever you're doing from 8 to 9 in the morning. But it's going to be a really wonderful way to kind of take stock of what's been going on in our department, and importantly, to talk about some of the things coming down the pipeline in our education programs, including the massive expansion of our undergraduate and residency programs that we're about to be grappling with, and the tremendous opportunities that offers us to help address the shortage of family physicians in our province and our country, and to talk, yes, about the third year of family medicine training, the 3-year program coming down from the college. Is it happening? What will it look like? If you want to know more, tune into the town hall on the 20th of October. So congratulations again to all those who are being honored this evening. It's a huge set of achievements and accomplishments we're going to be hearing about. And thanks once again to all those who've helped to organize this evening. Back to you, Mel and Abbas.
Thank you, Danielle. And thank you for reminding us about the importance of community and relationships with each other, and where we find inspiration for our work with our colleagues and mentors, but also our learners, and whether they be residents or students. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Dr. Risa Freeman, who's going to start us off with the program level awards. Welcome, Risa.
Thank you so much, Abbas, and it gives me great pleasure to be here and to be able to introduce our DFCM Education Program Awards. These awards recognize faculty, staff, and learners within the DFCM programs for their excellence in teaching, collaboration, mentorship, clinical excellence, and leadership. And they span the time from June of 22 to June of 2023, and they really celebrate contributions to learners, but also their patients, their communities, and our department. So I'd like to thank every single person who submitted a nomination. We can't do this without you, as well to all of the faculty and staff who participate in the nomination process in making tonight's event possible. And of course, congratulations to all of our winners. Learning is at the heart of everything we do here at the DFCM. As we all know, education is our core mandate, and our extensive work in undergrad, postgrad, graduate studies, faculty development, and education scholarship reflects our very deep commitment to the future of our discipline. And it goes far beyond our formal training. It's that we learn from each other. And Abbas, I was glad to hear you talk about your journey when you started, and Danielle, your notion of mentorship. And I'm very pleased to say that one of my greatest mentors, Helen Batty, is online tonight. Helen, thank you for being here. Helen actually started all of these awards in just a few years ago. So thank you, Helen, for joining us. And I hope that we can all be mentors to those we work and teach right now. So thank you all for being so bright and inspiring to our learners, to our educators, many of whom are celebrating here with us today. We have recently welcomed 176 new residents into our postgrad program, including visa trainees, and we very much look forward to seeing you, if you are online, join us as faculty members as soon as you graduate. We also have 250 phenomenal medical students who travel through our education programs. And I'd like to hand it over to Cheryl Ann Young, who is representing our undergraduate leadership and who will tell us about our undergrad program awards. So Cheryl Ann, over to you.
Thank you, Risa. I feel so lucky because you've been a mentor for me for so many years. So thank you. It is my pleasure to represent the undergrad program this evening. We have had an exciting year, and I'd just like to highlight a few things. We had the expansion to Humber, which started this year. And we've had the revitalization of our FM Immersion Week in June, which offered shadowing experiences, presentations, and clinical skills workshops to medical students. And we also introduced the new FM Clio program, which is the Family Medicine Community Longitudinal Leadership Enrichment Opportunity, where students were able to see firsthand how family physicians act within an equity-deserving neighborhood as a resource to their community. Over the years, I have participated on the Undergrad Awards Committee, and every year we review many outstanding nominations, and the decisions about the awards are always extremely difficult. Next slide, please. On the screen, you're going to see the winners for this year's awards. For winners for teaching excellence in clerkship, electives, transition to residency, FMLE, and the new teacher category. As well, we have award winners for role modeling clinical excellence, mentorship, advocacy, and innovation in family medicine education. Congratulations to Christina De Lassa, Tia Pham, Risa Boardman, Yvonne Kwok, Catherine Dorman, Diana Sha'an, Neil Baluzzo, Sheil Yun, Kate Marshall, Sandra Bingwo, Jean Robeson, Matthew Arova, Dave Wheeler, Braden O'Neill, Sarah Mahmood, Sandeep Agarwal, Melissa Singer, Elizabeth McCune, Hani Ibrahim, Lauren Welsh, Nitai Gelber, Jesse Myers, Haleh Dulatira Azar, Dwaita Degbite, Lauren Manalakos, and Joseph Larson. Thank you, and I will now hand it over to Stu Murdoch, who will be representing the postgraduate program this evening.
Murdoch. I'm a family doctor in Barrie, and I am the program director for DFCM. This is always an amazing time of the year when we kind of get a chance to reflect on all our successes in postgrad. And as Risa said, we are one of the largest program in the country, and we're being challenged on a 2-year program and moving forward to looking at what curricular renewal will look like within a 3-year program over the next 5 years. Postgrad has had another extremely successful year. One of our biggest successes is bringing Humber River on board as a new teaching unit in the Schulich Family Medicine teaching unit. They have 4 residents starting, and over the next 2 years, they'll fully mature to 9 residents at a year. Next slide. So we're going to, for the first time, be able to recognize some of our resident award winners over the last academic year. This is a group the last group coming out of the pandemic, having another huge successful graduation event. And for the first time, we were able to get together at Hart House to recognize all of our resident award winners. It was really nice to have a real good social event. And the residents were really pleased to get together and actually talk and socialize. They've all graduated and everything is great. And for our faculty, again, our strength of our program is definitely related to our faculty and expert teachers. We're well sought after across the country as we go fully matched. Areas of excellence in teaching, innovation in education, new teacher, program leadership, residency, and advocacy. Congratulations to all our winners. I'll now hand it over to Dr. Erica Catford, Program Director for Teaching Practice. Erica.
Thank you, Stu. I think you had the last slide there. I'm not sure if we can go back, but this has our 2 Hollister King Teaching Practices Award winners. So first, I'd like to acknowledge Dr. Kathleen Trout, our resident award winner. And if I may have a moment just to read you a little excerpt from her nomination. This came from Mary Lee Brown, who is a family physician and a longtime faculty of our teaching practice program at Port Perry site. So she says this about Kathleen. Every few years, a resident comes along who just embraces the experience of teaching practice program. And for me, Kathleen Trout is that resident. I like to think of Port Perry as a site where there's a smorgasbord of types of rural medicine. Many trainees sample their way through the options. Kathleen feasted on all there was to offer. She embraced all the different options, delivered more babies than any resident in years, and deftly juggled OR assist while doing hospitals when we were short staff. She goes on to list all the many attributes of Kathleen during this rotation, but I really want to acknowledge you, Kathleen, and congratulations on an amazing job well done on teaching practice. And if I may now, to tell you a little bit about our faculty winner, and I see you online there. So this is for Dr. Wade Mitchell. Thank you for joining us. And I'll just share a little excerpt of the nomination letter written by our resident who nominated Dr. Mitchell. So Dr. Mitchell emphasized the doctor-patient relationship as central to our practice. He demonstrated consistent empathy, compassion, and respect for patients, taking the time to truly listen to their concerns, embodies the qualities of a skilled clinician, displaying depth of knowledge across a wide range of specialties, allowed him to provide comprehensive care across multiple settings, in addition to a full roster of patients practicing regularly in hospitalist medicine, emergency medicine, GP dermatology, and well baby assessments. Modeled a work passion and a living life to the fullest by exercising regularly and maintaining active family life. Dr. Mitchell is an outstanding educator and practitioner, exemplifies the key principles of family medicine, and I'm confident he will continue to inspire and shape the careers of our future physicians. So many congrats to you, Wade. And I just want to, at the same time, we talked about acknowledging many people, and there's many people on the call here that have had an impact in my career, training and leadership and mentorship. But a shout out here to Michelle Griever, who was my family medicine preceptor in med school and turned my career path towards family medicine. So a little other shout out. Thank you very much, Stu.
I'm Abbas Rasul again. I'm going to talk to you about the Academic Fellowship and Program and Graduate Studies Program Awards. We've also had a fabulous year with our certificate programs in clinical teaching and clinical research, our fellowships, and our graduate programs. In particular, we're acknowledging Dr. Apichai Watanapisit, who is joining us from Bangkok. He spent a year with us. He's really dedicated to supporting faculty and residents in this program and developing research capacity. He completed a fabulous academic project while he was here, which he's submitting for publication. Apichai, thank you for joining us. I know it's 5 o'clock in the morning in Thailand right now, and we're grateful to have you online. Also, I'd like to acknowledge Dr. Susanna Fung, who co-teaches in one of the QI courses that is part of our program. She's recognized as being highly supportive of her students, providing individualized coaching to projects that develop. During the course, her enthusiasm for improvement science is described as infectious, and her commitment to inclusivity has enabled learners from a range of backgrounds to engage in her course meaningfully. Finally, Dr. Paul O, who has gratefully, or we're grateful to him for taking on some practicum students and providing them with mentorship and supervision in the area of cardiac rehab and research, where he is an inspiring and infectious leader. He's described by his students as an exceptional role model that really goes above and beyond. Thank you and congratulations to all of you. I'm passing it over to Dr. Alison Mirbaum for the Faculty Development Awards.
Thanks, Abbas, and hi, everyone. I'm delighted to recognize our Faculty Development Program Award winners. The Faculty Development Program Awards are adjudicated by a subcommittee of site and division faculty development leads and chaired by Thea Weisdorf. And I also wanted to acknowledge and recognize Maddie Morasudi, who is the administrator for the awards, funds, and grants portfolio, and just has done an amazing job, and I know is going to be celebrated and recognized shortly. Firstly, I just wanted to offer congratulations to Dr. Jane Chow, one of our faculty development leads, who is the recipient of the Community-Based Contributor to Faculty Development. Jane is responsible for onboarding any of our community-based faculty who teach FMLE and undergraduate electives. Dr. Purdy Papnasia is the recipient of the Continuing Education Impact Award for her work in sleep medicine and insomnia, something that many of us see in our practices every day. Dr. Navshir Gill was formerly the QI education lead, now serves both as the QI lead for the new Humber River site, and as well, she is the faculty wellness lead and has received the Jamie Muser Faculty Development Impact Award along with her QI team for their work on the Faculty QI Module series. We have two winners for the Leadership in Faculty Development Award. We have Dr. Giovanna Siriani in the faculty category, and our amazing program administrator, Dr. Danielle Danielle Dudica in the staff category. Our learner contributor to faculty development recipient is Dr. Emma Kinsella. Dr. Kyle Lee is the recipient of the Mentorship Award for this year. And lastly, Dr. Thea Weisdorf is the recipient of the Outstanding Contribution to Scholarship in Faculty Development Award. Thea, of course, had to step out of chairing the committee for the team to deliberate on this nomination, but sincere congratulations to Thea on this achievement. And I am turning it over to Peter Selby for the Research Program Awards.
Thanks very much. Good to see everybody here. And it gives me great pleasure to introduce the award for research mentorship. As you know, we're really trying to build up on the mentorship of early career researchers to help them do well. And we had a nominee from Baycrest over Dr. Juliana Anna Perry. So congratulations for your Research Mentorship Award. And we're very pleased to see that at least one person was nominated, and we're looking forward for more as we go along. And we've had some changes in the research program. We've got now Dr. Andrew Pinto, who's taken over as the research program director for the Problem-Based Learning Network. And we are trying to really grow our mentors. The other piece that we have today, the other awards that we got is for outstanding peer-reviewed publication. In the first place, Dr. Abby Sood from Humber River, really talking about a healthcare provider focused on opioid prescribing, and it seems to be the theme for the first and third place. But Dr. Janet Smiley from Unity Health and St. Mike's, uncovering SARS-CoV-2 vaccine uptake and COVID-19 impacts amongst First Nation, Inuit, and Métis peoples living in Toronto and London. And the third one by Dr. Cheryl Spidoff and team examining access to primary care for people with opioid use disorder in Ontario, and as a randomized clinical trial. So very high impact studies really could impact policy as well and have a huge impact on people. So congratulations to all of them, and we look forward to seeing more and more publications making an impact in primary care research. Next slide. And with that, I'd like to pass it on to Dr. Tara Kiran, Vice Chair, Quality and Innovation. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Peter. I'm delighted to present the Quality and Innovation Awards. These are awards that are in 3 categories. The first for our PGY1s who completed their QI project in their first year, then our PGY2s who chose to do a QI-related resident academic project, and finally to faculty and staff who are advancing quality of care initiatives. Quality of care, of course, has been front of mind with the COVID pandemic and coming out of it, and it's been great to see, many areas of work that have been taken up by the teams, including preventive and chronic disease care, but also mental health care, care of the elderly, lots of projects on virtual care and the integration of digital tools in primary care, and really pleased to also see projects related to advancing health equity and new this year, I think, as well as advancing sustainability. So I do want to draw attention to, I'm so far, I think, one of the first folks who are not naming people by name, because there are actually so many wonderful award winners, and they are, for the most part, acknowledging the massive teams that they have worked with to move things forward, because quality improvement and practice improvement is definitely a team approach. So congratulations to all of the QI award winners. You deserve it. And now I'm going to pass it on to our next speaker, Dr. Megan Landis.
Thanks, Tara. It's really a pleasure to be here, and I want to congratulate all of the winners and all of the nominees from the Division of Emergency Medicine Awards. And I also just wanted to highlight really the geographic span of these awardees across our incredibly valuable and engaged community emergency departments. And I think that speaks to the strength of this division in emergency medicine across all 14 sites across the GTA. The first award is Excellence in Teaching and Education in Emergency Medicine, which goes to Dr. Caroline Chan from Scarborough Health Network. This award recognizes excellence in teaching for new faculty. And Dr. Chan is an incredible clinician and teacher, and noted for her ability to skillfully tailor her teaching to each learner. So congratulations, Dr. Chan. The next award is Excellence in Teaching, which is sustained in emergency medicine. And this award goes to Dr. Caitlin Link at Credit Valley Hospital. This award recognizes excellence in teaching and education by faculty within our division. And Dr. Link has made outstanding contributions to teaching and education, not only in her own department and hospital site, but in many programs that are embedded within the DFCM. She's been recognized by learners as an exceptional teacher and an unparalleled, passionate educator. The next award is Excellence in Research and/or Quality Improvement in Emergency Medicine. And this award goes to Dr. Ruchi Mohindra from Michael Garron Hospital. And this award recognizes excellence in this case, quality improvement initiatives by faculty within our division. And Dr. Mohindra has been instrumental in the development and implementation of her own department's ambitious QI strategic plan. And she has been described as a natural driver of change and growth. And the final award goes to Dr. Angela Morocco from Michael Garron Hospital for the Excellence in Emergency Medicine Award. This award recognizes an individual who has demonstrated sustained excellence in clinical practice, teaching, and scholarship within our division. And Dr. Morocco is described really as having it all, acting as a critical care physician, a master diagnostician, a counselor, an advocate, a trusted colleague, and a friend. She is deeply committed to improving patient care and emergency medicine as a whole, with her quite incredible advocacy on a local and a provincial level. So congratulations to all of these awardees. And just finally, I would like to make the announcement that we will be renaming this final award, the Excellence in Emergency Medicine Award, as the Dr. Eric Latofsky Excellence in Emergency Medicine Award going forward in the coming year. And that's really to honor and recognize the profound contribution that Eric has had on our division and our profession as he really attempts to sneak into retirement. I will pass it on to Dr. Wentland from the Division of Palliative Care.
Thank you, Megan. Hi, everyone. I have the pleasure of announcing 2 awards, and I happen to be the Division Head of Palliative Care. Forgot to mention that part. So the first award, if we can have the next slide, would be the Carmelita Lawler Lectureship in Palliative Care. So this culminates in a presentation and lecture at the HPCO conference every spring, and it was due to a generous endowment established by Carmelita in '92. It was really, she wanted to ensure that there was an ongoing opportunity for healthcare professionals to learn about palliative care from someone specifically well-known and highly respected in the field. This year's recipient was Holly Prince, and she was recognized for her 2 decades of advocacy and hard work in advancing the right of Indigenous people's access to culturally appropriate and equitable palliative care. The second award that I'd like to announce is the Larry Liebrack Award for Excellence in Palliative Care Scholarship. It was established by Larry's family. He had actually been the division head for many, many years with the DFCM for palliative care because he wanted to support excellence in palliative care, but specifically support undergrad medical students and postgraduate family medicine residents in developing their scholarly work and allowing them the ability to present their work widely. So the award recipients included Dr. Savar Kaul, who is a PGY2 last year, and he was looking at the impact of virtual care that was instituted during COVID on patients with cancer receiving ambulatory palliative care. And Dr. Lillian Robinson, who was a PGY3 in family medicine, who examined the structural barriers faced by vulnerable populations in accessing traditional palliative care services. So I'd like to thank the 3 award winners for their great work over the years. And I'd also like to congratulate all of the faculty in the Division of Palliative Care that have won awards tonight. Great job. And finally, I'd like to hand over to Dr. Golinsky to present the Physician Assistant Awards. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Jeff Golinsky here, representing the Physician Assistant program. I just wanted to acknowledge the relationship that our program has with the DFCM. I really think it's a great fit for the PA program, as we too focus on generalism and comprehensive care. So I think the PA program really does fit well within the Department of Family and Community Medicine. So thank you to Danielle and everyone else for your ongoing support. Tonight I wanted to recognize both our faculty and student awards. First, excellence in clinical teaching, Miss Emma Wallace. Secondly, in PA role modeling, Katrina DeMacarian, mostly in clinical skills and as a lecturer as well. One of our teachers at our northern site in Thunder Bay, Dr. Samantha Biggs. And lastly, our rising star, our pharmacy teaching lead, Sonia. Next slide, we have our student awards, our PA program academic awards, as well as the PA awards for Student of the Year, Kylie, Clinical Excellence Award, Ella, PA Leadership Award, Lena, and PA Scholarly Excellence Award, Jasmine, and PA Ethical Decision Making Award, Natalia. So congratulations, everyone. And I think I'm passing it on to Dr. Thea Weisdorf and our DFCM Awards of Excellence.
I'm going to take the stage away from Thea for just a second to say a big, huge congratulations and thank all of our program directors and vice chairs for all of your work. Not only are we so incredibly proud of the work that our department has been able to achieve and all of the wonderful work that we've been kind of showcasing today, but also all the work that has gone into the nominations and the process to actually get these awards to fruition. So thank you very much to everyone. It really is inspiring, and you're the folks who keep everything running. So thanks so much. And I'm now going to pass it over to Thea to provide some information around the Awards of Excellence. Over to you.
Thank you. Hello again, everyone. So it is now my honor to present the DFCM Awards of Excellence, and just hold on for a bit while I just give a little bit of background here. So these are very high levels of awards, the highest that we offer at the DFCM, and given in recognition of sustained commitment, excellence, and department-wide contributions in teaching, research, leadership, course and program development, scholarship, social responsibility, quality improvement, and collaboration. And we'll be hearing from 3 of our award recipients a bit later. And you'll see that so many names in a short period of time, and I wish I could personally recognize everyone, but no one wanted us to be here past midnight. And we're incredibly lucky to have such broad and deep expertise, passion, and excellence amongst our faculty and staff. And it's wonderful to see so many familiar names on this list, but alongside many newer names and rising stars from our hospital and community sites. And this year's, it's really noted that we got nominations from every single site, which is a testament to the level of excellence across our department. Selecting recipients was not an easy task. So thank you to everyone who took time to prepare a nomination package, our faculty development site and program leads, and of course our Central Awards Committee, who had the difficult but hugely inspiring job of reviewing all of the nominations. A special thanks and farewell to Dr. Paul Kruger for his many years on the Central Awards Committee, bringing incredible knowledge and experience to us all. A very special thank you and recognition to Maddie Morisuti, the Awards, Grants, and Funds Administrator Extraordinaire. None of what I do would be possible without Maddie's incredible skill and organization. And congratulations, Maddie, on your Award of Excellence for the new Staff Employee Award. And I also would like to thank Dr. Alison Murbaum for her leadership and mentorship. Once again, congratulations to all the award recipients. If you have received an award this year, as has been said, or in the past, I encourage you to consider nominating a colleague next year. Also, I'm a very strong proponent of self-nomination, as so many worthy faculty and staff may not be easily identified. And this also speaks to our committee's commitment to improving the equity of the awards processes. So one of our wonderful DFCM Award of Excellence recipients is Serena Bibu, who is receiving the award for sustained excellence in leadership. And Serena is a practicing dietitian and health professional educator working as part of the Southeast Toronto Family Health Team and DFCM's Health Professional Educator Lead. As many of you know, HPEs are a critical part of the education we provide at the DFCM and essential in preparing our residents to work effectively in interprofessional teams after graduation. And as a faculty member since 2009, Serena has made significant contributions to our department through her teaching of our learners, collaborative research projects on interprofessional teaching and learning, and building the HPE community of practice. In fact, this year we got more Award of Excellence nominations for HPEs than ever before, which is a glowing tribute to her leadership in this area. Congratulations, Serena.
Thank you so much, Thea. I'm honored to receive this award and feel so lucky to have enjoyed a career that blends skills I truly enjoy: dietetics, health promotion, and teaching. As the recipient of this award, I've been asked to say a few words, so I'd like to share a little bit about my journey and experiences with the DFCM. My career began in various dietetic roles: diabetes education, inpatients, long-term care, but something was always missing. When the position to teach with the East York Family Doctors opened, I immediately jumped at the opportunity. From the very beginning, it's been proven to be a unique, rewarding, and surprising experience. Imagine showing up to a job interview where the interviewer is leaning back in his chair, arms behind his head, and his feet propped up on his desk. I quickly realized how privileged I was to begin this part of my career under the guidance of Jamie Muser. Jamie and the East York physicians were inclusive and supportive of all the family healthcare providers on the team, being early adopters of interprofessional education and interprofessional care. I was encouraged to think beyond just our medical learners and was connected with other teaching sites to create joint resources. I was brought into several DFCM professional development projects and admittedly felt somewhat intimidated. One of the first projects was co-chairing the newly created Interprofessional Education Advisory and Working Committee with Cynthia Whitehead. Cynthia dissolved any of my insecurities I had about being a non-physician in a physician's world simply by recognizing the hierarchy innate to medicine and addressing the elephant in the room. The forward-thinking approach of several DFCM members helped us promote interprofessional initiatives throughout the department, including providing expertise to undergrad and postgrad curriculum development. Not only did I feel supported and included, but I felt valued. This work led me to enrolling in the master's program at the DFCM, Health Professions Teacher Education. And once again, I found myself primarily in a world of physicians. But Helen Batty embraced all the students with encouragement and support, fostering our growth. She welcomed our varied experiences and perspectives. Her recognition of us all as adult learners and appreciation of our many life responsibilities, knowing when to be good enough when life was chaotic, is among the valuable lessons I still carry with me today. In my clinical role at the Southeast Toronto Family Health Team, affiliated with Michael Garron Hospital, I've been fortunate to have worked with numerous executive directors, postgrad and undergrad directors who always prioritized interprofessional collaboration and supported interprofessional education. I was encouraged to work with learners from all disciplines, whether acting as a dietetic preceptor, running workshops for medical resident academic half days, or partnering with pharmacy students to create educational tools. Many of the medical learners in my early career are the current family doctors and faculty at my site today. And I'm so honored to work with family doctors that were trained to value team care, and I know our patients also feel the positive impact. Around the time of completing my master's, I was encouraged to apply for faculty status at the DFCM, a little unusual for a non-physician at the time. The uniqueness of this application resulted in a very long process, 2 years of waiting to be approved. But in 2009, I officially became DFCM faculty. Recognizing the need to support all DFCM faculty, I was part of a team charged with examining teaching roles and experiences of non-physician healthcare providers working in family medicine. And what a team it was. I had the pleasure to work with Viola Anteo, Deanna Tellner, Judith Branson, Paul Kruger, Chris Meany, to name a few. We were set up for success by ensuring an experienced research team with diverse viewpoints. This led to 2 published research articles, but perhaps more importantly, the outcomes and recommendations from the study were taken by the DFCM Chair with genuine consideration. This resulted in a defined process for health professional educators to apply for faculty status, more consideration of faculty development opportunities, inclusion of HPE faculty in basics, representation on DFCM committees, and to this position as my position as the HPE faculty lead. I work under the leadership of the insightful Alison Meerbaum, helping support HPE faculty. We are involved in many aspects of the DFCM on faculty development committee, conference planning, curriculum planning, and the awards committees. By supporting all faculty and providing a collaborative environment, we're enriching our learners' experience, enhancing working in teams. We're developing family physicians that appreciate what each team member can bring to patient care. Once again, this highlights what the DFCM is all about, building connections and collaborative relationships that support its faculty, leading initiatives that impact not only how we train doctors, but how we train teams, ultimately providing the best care to as many patients as possible. I'm privileged to have received the DFCM Award of Excellence, Excellence in Leadership Sustained. And I always laugh at that word sustained, because in a world where I see people bounce around from job to job and career to career, I sometimes ask myself, why have I been in one place for 24 years? But between my family health team and the Department of Family and Community Medicine, I'm fortunate to have found a role that I love, surrounded by inspiring and a supportive community. Thank you very much to those that nominated me and supported me for this award, and thank you to all the award recipients tonight.
Thank you so much, Serena. That's fabulous, and congratulations. Working within teams is absolutely the future of primary care. And I'm very confident that we will not be able to continue to provide the quality of care that we're currently providing and address the needs within the healthcare system without really working together. So I'm really glad that you have continued to work with us to do that, despite perhaps some intimidating environments, which I can definitely say happens to us all. It is now my great pleasure to introduce our Louise Naismith Award winner, Dr. Stephanie Chow. So for anyone not familiar with Dr. Louise Naismith, she is a family doctor and a national leader in family medicine education, and among many other leadership roles across the country, was the DFCM Chair from 2002 to 2007. She was a transformational leader with a real focus on fostering collaboration and team building. And so the award in her name is given to a DFCM faculty member in their first 5 years with the department to support the development of a workshop or lecture on an educational change initiative. This year's recipient is Dr. Stephanie Chow, who is an addictions physician, EDI researcher, and the EDI and social accountability lead at Sunnybrook Health Sciences Center. I have had the pleasure to work with Stephanie on the Health Equity Committee, and I'm going to be the first one to say congratulations to Stephanie and welcome.
Great, thank you, Melanie. So for my part of the talk, I made some slides. So I guess I will just say next slide, just to advance the slides. Okay. So for this project, it will fund this particular research called the Health Equity Passport that I've been working on with, and a shout out to Shania, who is currently a second-year student at Queen's University applying for medical school. So I hope she gets in next year. And we've been working on a passport, which is a very condensed resource so that residents, as they go across different sites and do different electives, can learn about how to manage the care of equity-deserving populations. Next slide. So in order for us to start this project and to develop this particular tool, we first did a bit of a focus group with first-year family medicine residents, just to kind of understand where they are at baseline when it comes to working with equity-deserving population, vulnerable populations. In addition, we also interviewed a lot of physicians currently at Sunnybrook just to understand where they feel the residents might be lacking. Next slide. So this is just the demographic information of the first year students, residents at Sunnybrook. And you can see they come similar to a lot of residents at different other sites. They do come from a variety of backgrounds. Some of them are internationally trained, some of them they graduated in medical school, but also some of them have done additional graduate programs like masters, where they may have gained additional knowledge with regards to health equity. Next slide. So this is, again, we asked a lot of the residents if they belonged to any equity deserving group, and a lot of them did self-identify here as being part of an equity deserving group themselves. Next slide. And so when we asked them coming into residency, how much hours of lectures have you had when it comes to understanding the care of vulnerable populations? Actually, to our surprise, a lot of them did get quite a lot of hours, and they reported some of them got more than 10 hours, but there is some sort of variation depending on where they went to medical school on how many hours of education they got. Next slide. So when we kind of dived a little bit deeper and we asked them, what type of education did you get specifically around social determinants of health, around health equity? Some of them did, a couple of them actually participated in Indigenous population courses, Indigenous health seminars. That seemed to be the most common thread amongst residents at Sunnybrook, which is where we initially developed the Passport for. But as we start expanding this passport to other sites, I would be curious to learn where other residents, what other types of social determinants of health courses have they had prior to their residency. Next slide. So when we asked them, how do you rate your knowledge when it comes to providing care for equity deserving populations? A lot of them rated themselves as average, but maybe because they haven't really had a lot of experience in working with some of these populations out in the community yet, or in the clinic yet. A lot of them have just done courses on this so far. Unfortunately, not a lot of them said good or excellent, maybe just for immigrant and low SES populations, but it also helped us identify where are some areas where we can help the residents improve their knowledge. Next slide. So then we asked the residents, okay, are there specific populations you wanted to learn more about, you wanted to improve your knowledge on? And so they identified these areas in which we can potentially expand upon the passport. Next slide. And we also wanted to test usability. So once we develop the passport, what would residents value in the passport to make it user-friendly for them, and so that they will actually want to use it? And being able to have something that's easy to find and up to date is something very helpful. Also something they wanted on their phone so that they can search it up in clinic. Next slide. And then this is, again, some additional information that they said to us that they wanted. Next slide. And so finally, we asked them, okay, what are some current resources you use when you encounter an equity deserving population in the clinic, when you're faced with a question of social determinants of health when it comes to patient care? How do you identify resources for patients? And a lot of them said up to date or Googling it. So we wanted to be able to introduce some more narrower suggestions for them when managing patients. Next slide. So this is what we have developed so far, and it is a rough draft. So it is a passport sized. That's why it's called a passport. So it fits on your phone as kind of like a screen size, but it can also be printed out, and it's about the size of a passport when printed out. So it's easy to fit in a pocket if anyone wants to carry it with them or have it available on their phone. For our first concept, we focused on 4 different equity deserving groups, which is low SES, immigrant and refugees, LGBTQS+ patients, and Indigenous patients, as the areas that a lot of residents wanted more knowledge on. Next slide. And so first of all, in the first page of the passport, we always encourage residents to ask about their site's local resources. And these are some areas of interest for residents to speak to their preceptors about. sometimes when residents join either an elective or a core rotation, they may not necessarily know to ask about these resources until they encounter a patient and they realize, oh, wait, I don't actually know what are the local resources that we can offer to the patient. So having that first and foremost before they begin their rotation would allow them to keep in mind some of these things to ask about. Next slide. And then we also included different types of healthcare models. So they might encounter some populations will have a stronger focus on alternative medicines, complementary medicines as well. So I just wanted to make sure they are understanding of the different types of medicine, not just Western medicine. As well, when speaking with patients, we also wanted to include some terminology that they can use as an alternative. So for example, I work in the addiction space. So instead of calling a patient an addict, there are some alternatives that might be more suitable to talking to the patient. Next slide. And then for each of the 4 equity deserving groups that we've identified, and something we're looking to expand on this year is to add more groups so that we can collect more resources for different groups. And so this is a very user-friendly model that we've decided. So we've done it from the intake process, so your meet and greet, all the way to when you actually see the patient for appointments. And then the preceptor can either initial or check off if a resident has encountered a patient and has engaged in a intake assessment or in a regular appointment. There are QR codes that if the student wants to print it out, they can scan it and it will bring them directly to the different resources for themselves as well as for the patients. But if they're using it on their phone, they can just click each of the pictures and it'll also bring them to that particular resource as well. Next slide. So I just wanted to show what it looks like for some of the other groups that we've identified as well. And in order to identify these resources, we interviewed key stakeholders, so either patients, people with lived experience, or preceptors who regularly work with these populations for what they like to use when engaging with their patients. Next slide. And these are just some additional U of T-wide resources. So last year, a lot of the internal medicine program developed the guidelines for inclusivity. And so we've included that as well. Next slide. So just in terms of next steps, in addition to expanding the passport, we also want to develop something a bit more engaging because the core of my project is to identify user friendliness. So we're going to develop patient cases, one that might either intersect with different equity deserving groups, or it might be how do you manage, for example, care of a refugee. And they will use the passport to try to identify resources based on the case as a way of simulating treating a patient if they never actually end up encountering a patient that falls into that category. Next slide. And so thank you so much for listening. And I also wanted to thank Karen, who's also on this call, for nominating me for the award and for all of her support with all of our EDI projects in the department as well. And this is me and Shania presenting our poster at Sunnybrook Summer Research Day, where Shania's poster got first prize. Thank you everyone for listening.
Congratulations, Stephanie, on some really amazing work, which is going to have really fabulous impact. And best of luck as you continue this work and get to spread it. I look forward to be able to use this myself and with our learners. Now for the biggest award of the evening. As you've already seen and heard, the Academic Family Physician of the Year for 2023 is Dr. Karen Fleming. Dr. Fleming is the Chief of Family and Community Medicine at Sunnybrook. Her nomination package was really quite extensive and very impressive. As well as being chief, Dr. Fleming runs a comprehensive family practice and has a passion for the practice and scholarship of family medicine obstetrics and care for underserved populations. She was supported by letters from her DFCM faculty who spoke of the impact of Karen's leadership and mentorship on them, as well as national leaders in the care of women in pregnancy who enumerated her many accomplishments in development of clinical practice, scholarly work, etc. in this area. In particular, one of her nominees spoke about Karen's impact as a mentor, and I'm going to just read this brief summary, which is relatively, anyway, I found impactful. So Dr. Fleming is a multi-hyphenate physician. She is a family physician, department chief, and researcher who adeptly balances these roles while raising a family. And the nominator spoke about how Karen had been able to share her journey with the nominator, and that was where the nominator found impact. Dr. Fleming has demonstrated a strong and sustained commitment to enhancing clinical practice and advocating for vulnerable populations, both as a clinician in the clinic and in the delivery room, and after the delivery room for care of women after pregnancy, as a teacher with medical students, residents, and other learners, as a scholar and researcher in this area, and as a leader at Sunnybrook and in various other leadership roles. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Karen Fleming, who is well deserving of receiving this award. So Karen, I get to pass the microphone over to you for a few words. Congratulations.
Thank you. I think I might be speechless, but I think that's probably not what I should be at this point in time, since I am called upon to say a few words. So first off, thank you for those kind words, and thank you to all the people who submitted nomination letters and helped me to come to the point where I would be the recipient of Academic Family Physician of the Year. I never would have thought that this would come to be, but it is really a highlight of my year, my career, and I'm so thrilled that my family is on this Zoom call as well. I see them making comments in the chat, so I'm going to try to keep my eyes away from the chat, but it is nice to see so many familiar names in the chat. I wanted to do a quick shout out to some of the mentors over the years. So I would be remiss in not talking about Risa Freeman, who early in my career was really a mentor around education and education scholarship and leadership development. Helen Batty, it goes without saying that in the realm of academic medicine, one could not have a more amazing mentor. Viola, your work and assistance in helping me build my leadership skills is really was so impactful. And Nick Pimlett helping me to see myself as a scholar and a researcher, and helping me to bring forward what I'd seen in my clinical practice with women who'd had gestational diabetes or the hypertensive disorders of pregnancy, and seeing in the years to follow them developing gestational diabetes and hypertension and earlier heart disease, and wanting to ask that question, is there anything we can do differently? How do we change the future when we've got this opportunity to make a difference? So I want to congratulate all the award winners today and the senior promotions, and a special shout out to all the Sunnybrook people who we had a really good showing tonight. Yay, Team DFCM, particularly Team DFCM Sunnybrook. So I'm so honored, and I think I might go to the first slide. So while there is only one name on this award, I think it really should be a team award. And I have been so fortunate to have been a part of many wonderful, wonderful teams over my life. And of course, my very first team I was born into, and that was Team Fleming. So on this screen, you will see pictures of my mother, my father, and what you may not know about me is that I was born in Glasgow, which is in Scotland, for those who don't know. And we immigrated to Canada when I was 2. I'm not going to tell you the year because that really should remain secret. My mother was trained as a nurse midwife, and she worked in Rotten Row. My father was trained as an accountant and was a World War II veteran. He served in the Royal Navy. And at age 2, they decided to move to Canada for the promise of more opportunities for themselves and for their family. My mother was an inspiration in that first she was a nurse midwife, and she was well supported in the community. She told wonderful stories. And then she had her first child, who was me. At that point in time, she did not return to delivering babies, but went on to be a public health visiting nurse. At her next really inspiring moment for myself and for my sister, who I believe is on the call tonight, she really showed us what lifelong learning was about. Upon coming to Canada, she could not practice as a nurse, but it was something that she truly loved. And she went forward, retrained, and she ended her career at Sunnybrook Health Science Center in the surgical ICU, which was an innovative program at that time. So I just want to give a big thank you to my parents, who really provided me with the education, the tools, and the ability to really come to where I am today. And thank you to my sister, who is here tonight and was always there to share the good and the bad through those journeys. Another tip on my father was he ended his career as the acting deputy minister of municipal affairs and housing. And at this juncture in Toronto, I sorely missed the opportunity to discuss with him how we're going to address the challenge of so many buildings being built and so little infrastructure. But alas, he has passed, and I cannot have those conversations. You can go back to the screen. Great. I think I'll find it distracting. So as you can imagine, our dinner conversations were never dull. So what you may not know about me, since I'm being recognized as a family physician, is that my journey through medical school was definitely, as I was completing my master's, that I was going to be an endocrinologist par excellence. This was where my electives were. This is where my heart was. This is where I was going to be. And yet, as a PGY1 in my internal medicine career at Toronto Western Hospital, I did an elective at the Toronto Western Hospital Teaching Unit. And I was fortunate enough to have a transformative experience during that time. I really saw the joy of family medicine. I had the opportunities to deliver babies. I had the opportunities to see people across the lifespan, and a family physician was born. Their only problem that remained to be was, how do I transfer out of this program and into family medicine? Fortunately, Women's College Hospital decided, of course, this would be fantastic, and the rest is history. As I transferred to a PGY2, subsequently did a PGY3, honing my skills in women's health and maternity care, and my journey towards academia and clinical practice began. The joy of family medicine is really the relationships that are built over time with your patients and with your colleagues. Last Friday, I was privileged to deliver a first great-grandchild to a family in my practice. This family has been with me since immigrating to Canada 24 years ago. This baby's 83-year-old great-grandmother is my patient, as is this baby's grandmother, grandfather, father, as well as cousins and or second cousins. And I think I lose count at 20 of how many people are in this family. All births are special. This was a particularly special one for me. We shared old memories. We made new memories. They plied me with a lot of food, which is not something I usually have on call. And that was fantastic. It was really special. A sad piece of the day is that this day marked the day that Bayview Family Practice sent out letters to our patients, because our medical building is going to become a condo, as is many medical buildings in Midtown Toronto. First was 250 Lawrence, now 586 Eglinton, 1366 Yonge Street. Every corner has new housing. Condos are replacing our office buildings. And I would be especially remiss to not speak to the tremendous partners that I have who are here tonight: Leslie Byers, Jennifer Wyman, and Claire Murphy. Our journey together over the past 25 years has been remarkable. We've been through ups, we've been through downs, we've been through 2 pandemics, SARS-1, COVID, H1N1, power outages, you name it, we've done it. And I could not have gotten through all of that without your support. So thank you. And it is sad to be coming to a close, but we were all going on to new adventures and wishing one another well. And I look forward to maybe not another 25 years in family medicine, but perhaps a few more of comprehensive family medicine, delivering babies, and continuing my academic journey. So I remember they were even supportive when I dropped the bombshell on them that I thought that I was ready for a new leadership position. And I thought perhaps I'd take on the very small role of the chief of the Department of Family and Community Medicine at Sunnybrook Hospital. So I'm not sure if it was disbelief, but anyway, they were there for me and off we went. 6 months into that came COVID. And that was not what I was prepared for, nor what anyone was prepared for. So, but I thought this is what I wanted. I was passionate about health system change. I was passionate about care of vulnerable populations, and here we go. Family medicine rose to the challenge during COVID. Our community relationships and hospital relationships helped us to scale up vaccine clinics, reach out to vulnerable populations, and provide reliable medical information to our communities. It took a village, and I was so glad to have these trusted relationships that I built over time with colleagues to meet this new challenge. Thank you to everyone who's on the call, because I know that Jane has won an award. Many people from the department here tonight joined me on those outings into the community. From parking lots in the rain, to daycares, to retirement homes, to shelters, to the park. We built trust, grew our team, and grew the teams we had in our local community that is standing us in good stead as we go forward. So, is family medicine facing challenges at the moment? Well, absolutely. Am I still experiencing the joy of family medicine? Absolutely. Am I tired? A resounding yes. Do I have hope we will navigate this challenge facing family medicine? Yes, I do. If we believe, we do it together, and we do it together. I do want to take my final words to thank my immediate family. So next slide. These are my amazing children. And of course, my amazing partner, who's also in some of these pictures. Eric and Samantha, I am so incredibly proud of the fantastic humans that you have become. Successful engineer, soon to be fully trained psychotherapist, Samantha. You will do great work. And I was so inspired by the work that you did over the pandemic, helping do vaccines, helping seniors at Sprint Senior Care to learn the techniques of the technical world. I would have to say that you have lots of experience in helping me with the tech challenges that I have, and I'm sure that stood you in good stead for taking on the learning and teaching for those seniors who learned great things and remained engaged over the pandemic. Great work. I am so appreciative of your workplace, Eric, for having had the smart sense of allowing you the time to do that during office hours. So thank you for your support and for always being there. Next slide. And to my life partner, Steve, thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for all the support that you've given me over the years, for putting up with me, going out at 2 in the morning, coming back at 3 in the morning, letting you know I was going to be back in, 30 minutes and showing up back in 2 hours, for supporting me and encouraging me to take new challenges and go on new adventures. Without you and your support, I would not have been where I am today. And this award is for you as well. So thank you. And thank you so much for the opportunity to speak to you tonight. And congratulations to everyone.
Thank you so much, Karen. Thank you for your commitment, your work, your dedication to this department, to family medicine. So glad you're not an endocrinologist. You have inspired and you continue to inspire so many people. And thanks so much for providing us with a little bit of a window into your life and your journey. You mentioned hope, which I think is just so incredibly critical, not only to the day-to-day work that we do as family physicians, but also as we look forward into the future of primary care and family medicine and how we can move forward within the system itself. I'm now going to hand everything back over to Risa to speak to external awards and faculty appointments.
Thank you very much, Melanie. And I'm very excited to be able to introduce our external awards and recognize the contributions of our colleagues who've been honored with awards from far and wide. These awards are also representative of those provided between June 22 and June 23 and reflect the contributions of individuals and large groups who've made impact beyond our department. And we are truly honored to be able to work with them. You'll see amongst the recipients many familiar and very established names in family medicine and those just starting out in their career or completing their residency. The influence of our department can't be missed when you look at the slides. Not only do we have a huge number of faculty, staff, and learners represented, but also a very diverse group of local institutions, provincial and national bodies, the college, the Government of Canada, and other international organizations. Congratulations to all of the recipients on very well-deserved awards, and thank you for your hard work and contributions. I'd like to make special note of two of the awards. They are all of the awards are so completely special, but one, Cynthia Whitehead, for the special note of the Ian Hart Award, which is the highest level of award for Canadian medical educators, and David Tenenbaum for the Ian McWhinney Award. The Ian McWhinney Award is named in honor of the founding father of family medicine in Canada, and it's the highest award for a family medicine educator in Canada. Congratulations to everyone for the amazing work that you've done over the course of the year. We have been able to celebrate many of these awards, and we're very pleased to be able to do it publicly now. Next slide. We have the next slide. We're on a time loop. Okay, new faculty appointments. Over the past year, we've actually welcomed 170 new faculty members, and you'll see their names on all of the slides. We have welcomed our first faculty members at the Humber River Health Family Practice, Shula Family Practice Unit, 12 new faculty members in the Scarborough Health Network, 60 new palliative care faculty, 23 new emergency medicine faculty, 33 new faculty in our undergraduate program through FMLE, clerkship, and electives. This growth is incredibly important to our department, especially as we move on to expansion over the next few years. And all of these individuals come from a wide range of backgrounds and experiences, and they are all committed to shaping the future of our learners. We're pleased to have every single one of you join us. The next stage of the journey for many of our faculty members is junior promotion, and you can see the list of junior promotion recipients on this slide. Advancing from lecturer to assistant professor is an important move that reflects an individual's academic impact, but it's also very telling of their dedication to ushering in future family medicine physicians so that they are equipped with the skills and knowledge to be effective and to serve their communities and their patients. I know it's hard to go for junior promotion, and I want to reassure you that Through our mentorship program, our faculty development program, the DFCM is committed to try and help and support you on that journey. Congratulations to all. Also, I want to thank the many members of the Department Appointments Committee who make it possible for us to appoint all of these folks. To Dr. Ruby Alvey, Michael Cates, Rosemary Lull, thank you for your contributions over the years. You have made a very difficult task possible. And a special note of very sincere appreciation to Dr. Sheldon Cheskis for his contributions to the committee over the past 4 years, and most recently as the inaugural faculty appointment and junior promotion lead. Throughout his tenure, Dr. Cheskis has led with efficiency and enthusiasm. He welcomed a number of new committee members to ensure that the committee would reflect the broader DFCM, and has been instrumental in mentoring junior faculty members and supporting new academic appointments, including the new DFCM Paramedicine Collaborative. Sheldon, we are deeply grateful for your contributions and for your hard work and leadership. And now I'll pass it back to Abbas.
Thank you, Risa. Welcome to all of our new faculty members, and special congratulations to the external award winners and the junior promotion recipients. I'd like to now introduce Dr. Jeff Kwong, who's chair of the Senior Promotions Committee, who will be introducing our senior promotions.
Great, thanks, Abbas. Realizing that I'm the last person standing between you and your dinner, let's get going with this. So it gives me great pleasure to acknowledge the senior promotion. So that's promotion from assistant professor to associate professor, and also from associate professor to full professor. And so here we have the 5 newest associate professors in our department. So we have Dr. Farhan Azrar, Harvey Blankenstein, Camille Lemieux, Justin Morgenstern, and Giovanna Siriani. And so given the time limitations, I'm not going to go through each of their profiles, but there is on the DFCM website a description, the profiling each of these new senior promotions. Next slide, please. So we have 7 new full professors, Doctors Sandy Buckman, David Carr, Michelle Griever, Lisa Jacquemainen, Catherine Brulot, Arun Sayal, and Nikki Woods. So huge congratulations. So, associate professor means that you've achieved a national recognition for your work, and full professor means you have international recognition and impact for your work. So this reflects, a career's worth of work for each of these, lots of blood, sweat, and tears. And we have a short video, featuring some of our newest associate and full professors. So I'm going to ask for Olivia to play the video, please.
As you know, I'm a community-based family doctor, and being a full professor and practicing in the community is not all that common. I thought this would provide, a really wonderful way of recognizing the work done by all my colleagues to support research in the community.
Well, I think 2 big reasons. One is because I work with some amazing colleagues. I work with some of the smartest and most innovative researchers and clinicians. So I think their encouragement is probably one of the big reasons that I went for promotion. And another reason was for my family, who, has seen me for many years work on things. They understand the clinical work, but I don't think they see the other parts of work.
It's really an innate desire. When I went through my first senior promotion, the first thing I said to myself and to my wife was, there's no way I'm going for full professor. As you get involved in my field of emergency medicine outside of Canada, North America, and Europe, you realize that being a full professor is such an important aspect of being an educator.
And kind of looked at it as just a way of it opening further doors and opportunities. So
I was approaching a significant milestone in my career, and I thought that pursuing senior promotion would provide me an opportunity to self-reflect, look back, and identify all the collective achievements made in our department.
For me, it was 2 career firsts that were most meaningful. When I published a first authored paper for the first time, and when I received my first peer-reviewed grant.
I'd say probably the most meaningful event was actually when I got matched to North York General Hospital as a family medicine resident.
I think for me, probably the most meaningful event was the birth of Utopian, for which I was one of the members.
The fact that at the moment I'm in a leadership role in terms of being my department head at my hospital for our department of family medicine.
Small events where I actually, according to many others, and not necessarily my own self-evaluation, demonstrated leadership, which was one of the themes that I went on for my, in CPA, that I went on for senior promotion.
When I'm at a meeting or a conference and someone that I don't know or that I don't know that well will mention reading one of my papers or knowing my work and actually using it for their work.
First and foremost, I would say it's always been like my mom. She's always been the pillar of support and inspiration for my success as well. So definitely, I would say I always kind of would credit her.
Professionally, I've had great mentors who encouraged me throughout my career. So the people that I've worked with and the people that I've looked up to in family medicine, in palliative care, and in academic medicine.
It takes a team. I don't think without a supportive family, anyone gets anywhere. I've been blessed with mentorship. I don't think anyone gets to this level without mentorship.
Direction and mentorship of Larry Liebrack, himself a family physician who began a focused practice in palliative care.
The family medicine department at North York General has provided tremendous support, as well as a nurturing and positive environment for academic teaching and scholarly activities.
But then also the hospital was supportive, and the DFCM and the university. And as meaningful as all of those relationships are for me, and as much I value and cherish those relationships, I'll say by far the most support has come from home.
Focusing on that greater good. So anytime you're coming up with initiatives, the fruits of your labor and all might not be visible immediately. There are definitely twists and turns. So it's just kind of focusing on what is that end goal? What is the purpose of doing this?
It gave me a very strong moral sense of an obligation to pay it forward and pay it back. How can I, as an individual, do my best to contribute to our discipline and ultimately to the better care of our patients?
I think for me, when I do have to take a step back, it's parsing those things out. Where is my clinical work right now, and how much of that is taking up my time and impacting me in terms of my overall sense of balance and wellness. And
I think it's really important to be curious. You have to kind of see a patient and be ignited with passion.
I feel a sense of academic and clinical freedom and independence. So that freedom has allowed me to pursue unique clinical experiences. And all of that has allowed me, with the independence I have to start courses, which has also allowed me to dig a little deeper.
I would say a sense of humor. I think that sometimes I kind of laugh at myself when I'm, spinning off into concerns about things, and I put a perspective in it and have a good laugh.
This is not always easy because it is so challenging sometimes to do research. There's many barriers. What enables me to maintain wellness and a sense of support is seeing the work used by others.
So thank you to the team at DFCM for putting that video together. If we could get the slides back. I just wanted to thank the Senior Promotions Committee, the members from last year. They're going to be on this slide. So it's a huge amount of work reviewing these, dossiers that are put together by each candidate, and then they, prepare a letter that helps move things forward for them. So it's a huge team effort. And so you can see all the members of the Senior Promotions Committee from last year, many of whom are continuing this year, but we do have some new members for the coming year. And missing from this slide is Sarah Latowski, who's the academic promotions coordinator, who's key to keeping everything together and making sure the whole process runs smoothly for everybody. But last but not least, if I could have the next slide, I want to acknowledge Dr. David White, who is the chair of the Senior Promotions Committee for 7 years, from 2016 to 2023. And so I've taken over and had to, trying my best to fill his massive shoes this year and moving forward. So huge thanks to David. I'm sure many of those who are on this call have benefited greatly from David's mentorship, teaching, research collaboration, and friendship. So yeah, not much more that we can say about David. He's been a huge contributor to the department and to many of us. And that's it for me as the, from Senior Promotions. Turning it back to Abbas and Melanie.
So thank you very much for that and for everything. As a person currently sitting in David White's chair at the DFCM, I can completely understand the challenges of being in his spaces. I want to say once again, congratulations to all of our award winners, our promoted faculty, our new faculty. And I also want to thank you all for being here tonight, for sticking with us, even though we're a few minutes over. And for us to be here to share so many in the successes and the remarkable accomplishments of everybody within the department. It's not an accident that when we think about the strategy around what our department is here to do, community, relationship, and leadership are the pillars under which our strategy is founded right now. Those qualities have been demonstrated over and over again in the award recipients of this evening. So I just want to say again, congratulations to everyone. And I want to once again thank Abbas for being here with me tonight, and I will just hand it over to him.
Thank you, Melanie, for making this an easy job. I have to say one of the things I missed is participating in the chat. I felt like I would be taking sides, and if I was congratulating people from my department more than the other folks. But big congratulations to everybody this evening. We do have to say thank you to the big team who's put this event together, this amazing event tonight that has gone off without any kind of technical glitch. Thank you, Thea Weisdorf, for your leadership in terms of the awards in the department and organizing them and distributing them and making sure that that everybody across the department is eligible for these. Alison Merbaum and your leadership in the faculty development portfolio. Maddie, who has worked really hard to wrangle a bunch of panelists and speakers and gotten everything to work amazingly again this evening. Amy Noyes and Erin Lete, our communications team, who prepared sort of brief notes for us and also made sure that this event has been a success. And Olivia Neal and Susan Raybold, who were the technical whizzes to make sure again that everything was working okay. Congratulations, everybody, both nominees and award winners. I think that was a really fabulous and fun evening. I have one final task for you, and that is to grab your phone and put 2 important dates in the calendar. One of them, Dr. Danielle Martin has already mentioned. That's October 20th for the DFCM Town Hall. It's from 8 to 9 in the morning, and that's a virtual session. And I know the planning committee has been working really hard for the DFCM conference, and they're planning a full day in-person affair on Thursday, May 16th. So more information about that, but get your abstracts ready. Registration will be, I think, in the new year. And so that'll be a fun day for the whole department to get together and learn and collaborate with each other. Again, congratulations, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening and for making this department an amazing place to work. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening.